Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. So thought I would do a real quick greenhouse tour with you so you can see the progress of the plants. We are in for a major storm and the winds are just howling outside the greenhouse this morning. Let's get to it. So something a little new on our agenda this morning is we are planting smoky Saskatoon berry trees. Now in some parts of the States they're known as June berries, but here they're known as Saskatoon berries. So smoky Saskatoons are actually the biggest and sweetest of the Saskatoon berries, and it actually grows like a bush. So we're actually going to be planting these on the property so that I can just go and harvest these locally in the yard rather than searching for them around through the woods. So we have over 50 of these trees. They're just whips for right now, so they will take a little bit of time. But we got to start somewhere with the fruit, so we'll be planting those this summer. So we'll start going down the line so you can see how healthy our tomatoes are starting to get here. Beautiful green leaves. That is my black strawberry tomato. For those of you who actually have some of the seed, those are a determinate tomato, so they won't get very tall, probably about 3-4 feet. And they actually have some really great tomatoes on them. An awesome colored tomato. Got peppers. Our blackberries are coming out everywhere. We now have our micro tomatoes, which you can see them a little bit better. We have a friend there down by the tomatoes on the left hand of the screen. We have cucumbers. Some of our peppers. It is just buzzing in here today with bees. Oh my goodness. More little micro tomatoes. These are called Little Peeps. But they're definitely coming along. More peppers. So these are my elephant ear peppers, and boy, they are growing fast. Tomatoes. Now you can see here, if I move a little bit closer, these are lychee tomatoes, and lychee tomatoes are a little bit bigger than a cherry tomato. Very sweet. The only thing with a lychee tomato is the thorns. So if you've never planted them before, be careful because they do have big thorns that eventually come out on the leaves of the plant. Our zucchini. And my goodness, the humidity's high. We have got to do some weeding in here. And here we have our Bosc Blue Bumblebee cherry tomatoes. So those are there. And what we have here is our blue kidney beans. Now, it was a hit or miss last year with cucumbers, so I don't know how your cucumbers turned out for you guys last year, but mine weren't incredibly wonderful. So we'll see how they do this year. They look really healthy actually though this year. The wind actually just blew my door shut. Holy smokes, it's windy outside. Here's my poblano peppers. And actually we planted broccoli. Broccoli is up and looking great. These are my Aunt Lou underground tomatoes. As soon as we put them in these raised beds, they just take off. A zucchini that desperately needs weeding. Oh boy, I did actually plant kale, you guys, but I'm not a big kale fan and I'm really trying to get better about it. So we're gonna try and incorporate that into our diet a little bit. If you have any ideas, let me know. Tomatoes, grapes, more tomatoes, more peppers. We always have friends in the greenhouse, of course. But what I was showing you guys is that I'm always trying to trim up the bottoms of the plants with the leaves. But you can see here we've got lots of blossoms and lots of things happening with our pepper plants. The leaves are pointing up. I haven't fertilized these, but they're telling me they're really happy. Grapes. I threw some lettuce in here, even though I know what's going to happen with the lettuce. It'll bolt right away because it's really warm. More lettuce, some more peppers. Now I have my black cumin down here. For whatever reason, it's being very cranky this year, but it's now just starting to stand back up. I transplanted it. It was not happy, but it's back. So we'll see how it grows this year. More tomatoes, more zucchini, and we actually have peas. Take a look. Our peas are flowering, so it will be no time flat that we will be getting some peas finally. So these are a sugar snap pea. So we'll see if they take in the greenhouse. You have to be careful because if you plant too late, the peas will actually go bitter if it's too hot. So we're still getting really low temperatures for this time of the year, so we'll see what happens. Then if I turn around behind me, this is our blackberries. So our blackberries are early this year. I didn't get any blackberries last year, probably till about the end of July, beginning of August. So this is super early for blackberries, but I've got a ton of them. Tons of flowers. The bumblebees are in here and they're going, get out of my way. So that's what I'm going to do. We walk around here. We've got the roses still blooming. Almost to the point now where I need to start snipping them because they're coming across too far into the next bin. Isn't that crazy? Look at this. Like, this is all on just one vine. Isn't that cool? Wow. So you can see they're starting to sort of peter out, right? So you can see that they're starting to die. And then what'll happen is these roses die off just about now. And then you'll get another flush of roses at the end of August. So right in time they'll pretty much bloom all the way until Thanksgiving. So you'll have roses for Thanksgiving. These are called Above and Beyond roses. Ooh, that was a bee. Oh my goodness. There's bees everywhere in here. And then turning from the roses, we have our horseradish. So the horseradish, remember I gave a good haircut to. I can see that I still need to give it a little bit more of a haircut because we do have the sawflies that have laid their eggs. So once they lay their eggs in there, they hatch. And then basically they invade your garden. So these are just flower petals on the outside, not bugs. But yep, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going back through it and we're going to be trimming it again. Our fig tree is doing good too. So with the figs, I thought at first he wasn't really happy and he wasn't going to give me any more leaves, but we're starting to see more leaves here. And what will happen is probably by September, we'll get a few figs. I got, I think, 4 off of the tree last year. So let's see what happens with that. I trimmed, oh my goodness, I trimmed the Japanese burdock. So now it definitely looks like a tree. So I trimmed it from the bottom. But look how high that is. Oh my goodness, there's bees everywhere. Ah, they're looking for a way out. I opened the greenhouse door and sometimes they'll fly around forever until they figure out a way out of here. I was working in the onion patch yesterday, so you can see all of the multipliers we have. And then I planted some sunflowers over in the corner there just to give it a little bit of color by Thanksgiving. What you're seeing here is I planted pineapple ground cherries. Remember, it must have been probably about a month ago, we threw one ground cherry berry into the bucket to see how many plants we get out of it. Well, we ended up actually getting 5 or 6 out of one berry. So I planted some of them. They're in shock because I took them out of the just out of the bucket. So this guy's going to come back for sure, and these guys are doing just fine. So we'll have plenty of ground cherries. Let's see what else we got in here. And the bees are in here and they're on the bean flowers. Take a look. We're gonna have lots of beans soon. These are flowers in the middle of my beans, but that's okay. It just gives it some more color. And our coffee plants. Had to give them a trim just because we had some die off over the winter, but they've come back. They're giving me more leaves on the bottom and more leaves on the top. You can see there's brand new leaves here. So they're fine. Let's move on through. And here we are in the walking onion patch. So you can see we're getting lots of seeds from these. And big seeds. We'll be able to actually pick these soon. Basically, all you do is just break them off, break them apart. Once the paper is actually dried out on them and you're good to go, you can replant them. Herbs, sunflowers, and of course the grapes. So the grapes are doing amazing. I've got so many clusters in here. If I pointed them all out to you, you guys would be bored, so I don't want to do that. All of this down here, I was sitting and I was weeding this yesterday. This is all different garlic that we'll be planting this year for seed. And they turned out really well. We have some rice as well that has decided that it's okay being planted in a pot. Another grape plant. So this one's going to be a green grape. The other one over there is a purple grape. So we'll see which ones we like better. And this is my black goji berry. Very full of thorns, so I have to be careful. And these are Smoky Saskatoons. So the Smokies are really sending out their leaves. So these will be the first ones planted. And then I planted a couple of cherry trees as well in here, but these are all my raspberries. So I didn't quite know where to put them yet on the property, but we have all of these raspberry canes that are ready to actually move and be planted. We've got corn, saffron, peppers, yellow beans, which are sweeter than the green ones I find. And I brought some strawberries into the greenhouse as well. See what's happening here is the onion is starting to find its way down into the strawberry patch, which would be okay. Onions and strawberries don't mind each other. All right. We have a bay leaf plant up there. What you're seeing here is sunflowers. So these sunflowers won't get any taller than this. They were just a short sunflower, so we'll be able to get some color just on this side. Lots of flowers and beans. You can see here the beans have even started flowering here. And then our Swiss chard is getting bigger. So they're slowly graduating from being a baby green now. We're going to have full-size Swiss chard, no problem. The lamb's quarters have gone crazy this year. I have been doing nothing but picking lamb's quarters out of my garden. Here we have cilantro. So cilantro will turn into coriander if you like to actually plant cilantro. Kind of got a dual purpose. You're able to save the seed and they will be coriander. So we use that a lot in our Christmas cookies. And then more sunflowers, and we have multipliers that are giving us seed. Our apple trees are small, but they are mighty. Apple trees actually do really good being grown in a pot. So if you're not sure where to put them, just slam them into a pot and wait and figure out where you want to put them, because this has been, I think this is going on year 2 for them to be in a pot, and they're just fine. Okay, let's see what we got in here. Ooh, I definitely need to do some grass clipping. Check it out. It's the potatoes. Now let's cross our fingers and hope we don't get any frost. But the potatoes are happy. I didn't expect them to be this high. I haven't come in here for a few days because it's been raining forever. It's just crazy. And then lots of weeds. However, we've got spinach coming up, beans, we have peas, Our garlic is really coming up. Wow. This is our garlic. More garlic. Then we have our red ripper cowpeas. All of these beans down here are contender beans, so they're going to be a nice green bean. And then I thought I'd take a chance and put out a candy roaster squash. Now what I've been doing is, if the nights have been getting down really low, is just doing this, just to keep them a little bit protected from, if it gets chilly. But I think they're okay now. We'll see how they do. All of our asparagus is now pretty much gone to seed. They look like trees now. They're going to start flowering any minute. These are my hascaps, so you can see our pollinators are hard at work. He is just loving those hascaps. So they've flowered. That one was the last one that's flowered. The rest of these now are going to start to give me fruit. But they're beautiful. I mean, this is only 3 years worth of growth, and they're already probably about 4 feet. So we're going to be transplanting these for next year. And I like to leave the grass sometimes a little bit longer, just for our pollinators, so that they have something to munch on and pollinate for a while. I like to work with the land. Our flagpole scallions have now started to give us seeds. So they're going to break out into this nice flower, and then we're going to get seeds from them. And then we have radicchio, which is coming up beautifully, and corn, which we planted, which isn't in shock anymore because it got planted a little bit too early. Over in there we have oats, onions, and more beans. And if you look really closely, way in here we've already got our carrots planted. So what I like to do with these beds is I really like to jam them full of all the vegetables in the spring that I think we're going to need, and then go to the back greenhouse and do the same thing. We've planted potatoes in here. We have garlic, more garlic. So this is our Great Northern garlic. We'll see how it does. We have asparagus. So once again, our asparagus here has gone to seed. But we also have a big, beautiful rhubarb patch. So this rhubarb was grown from seed. And then every year I save the seed from this heirloom rhubarb. So we have lots of those. If you are going to grow rhubarb from seed, it does take about 2 years, but you'll get some of the best heirloom rhubarb you've ever had. I really enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I think I could probably pick this right now if I wanted to. Check it out. Isn't that nice? We've got some big dandelions in here, but sometimes, like I said, I leave it for the pollinators. Let's take it out before it goes to seed. So big, beautiful rhubarb patch, and so far so good with growing it in a raised bed. Not any issues at all. That's it for us today, guys. The only thing I forgot to mention is the ticks are in full force already. We're coming in after gardening, and we're doing tick checks, and we're picking ticks off of us. Oh, it's just not fun. Anyways, everybody, have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.